Hello, good afternoon.
We have Tarun here today, and he'll be discussing his perspectives on the Executive MBA, the concept as such, and his experience, and the challenges that he went through when he was deciding on an Executive MBA program. These are questions that everybody, comes through when they're looking at Executive MBA programs, and there's no better person to hear from than the people who are actually going through that journey themselves. So, Tarun, we are very happy to have you here. Please
Same here.
share your introduction and background and your work experience with us.
Sure. So, born and brought up in Vijayawada, right? I'm a South Indian, and predominantly education happened there. After my college, ended up joining a mid-office investment bank called UBS at that time, and now it is Credit Suisse. They had a huge center in Hyderabad, so that's how my career began right after, BCom, my graduation. So as luck would have it, the economy was booming. So I was getting a promotion after another promotion. I was able to join Thomson Reuters after UBS and spent about 5 years there. And when I joined Thomson Reuters is when I could move into a client-facing role, into a consulting role with investment managers. So Thomson Reuters, for people who don't know, they offer information services for banks and other asset management companies. And after 5 years there, moving into a client-facing role, I realized that that's what I would like to do because I was loving my interactions with different sets of people. Every day is different when you go into client-facing, right? So once you move on to the business side, it's not monotonous anymore. And continued my career like that. And right now, I have about 16 years in experience. I'm working as a chief business officer for a fintech company. I'm building the B2B business payments division for them. It's a publicly listed company. And yeah, I mean, I've always been in sales after that and worked in companies like LinkedIn, Policy Bazaar. So, few of the names, and of course, TikTok, the infamous one, famous for a lot of reasons and famous for also for certain reasons, but yeah, been a fulfilling experience so far.
That's a great journey. And then I was when I was reading about your profile, I saw that you graduated in 2007, and it
Correct.
is like after so many years that you've decided on an executive MBA. So, what motivated you to pursue an executive MBA, at this point in time in your career?
Sure. So Shruti, it's a very interesting thing, right? I've given GMAT thrice in these last 16 years, ever since I graduated. In fact, I attended at least a couple of information sessions in your college as well, where you passed out from ISB, being from Hyderabad. And a bunch of my school friends who ended up in a typical path, they went to BITS or IIT and then they ended up at ISB. So went and partied a lot in your campus as well. But as luck would have it, it didn't work out, right? I wanted to do it much before, but I don't regret it now because I got this whole bunch of experiences which I'm bringing to the table right now. And my reasons are pretty simple. In fact, a lot of people were asking me that you've already reached a C level, even though it's not in a large company like a multinational or something, but still it's a P&L role, right? So what would you do now? What would be your growth opportunity? But it was very clear for me, right? Getting the strategic business understanding, no matter how much people discount MBA these days, it has become a fashion. But I strongly subscribe to the fact that to expand your networks, beyond the realm of what you've already built over 15, 20 years, that was the main reason, getting that strategic understanding of businesses, cross-functional understanding as well. How, when you're managing, there are a lot of accounting discussions that happen when you're managing a P&L. There are a lot of technology discussions that are happening. And if you don't have that breadth of understanding, you will not be able to perform in your role when you're leading teams. So that's basically why I've decided to pursue it right now.
Right. And just taking this question, one step further, how do you really see the EMBA or the executive MBA aligning with your long-term career goals? How do you see yourself going up the ladder and supported by the EMBA?
Many ways. So to perform in my role, ever since I started this started attending this program, I can clearly see my discussions changing for good when I'm discussing with my tech team, my CTO rather, and when I'm discussing with the accounts team as well, the finance team, and also my conversations with my promoter and the CEO, there is a lot of difference. There is, set of confidence that has come in. My confidence has improved because I have broader understanding of these topics which are being discussed at the table, right? So if I perform well in this role, that is when I can aim to grow further, in whatever I set out to do. So how this program is helping me right now is to perform a much better manner right now, right? Which probably I would have without the program as well, but that has definitely, accelerated.
Related. Absolutely. And for people who are choosing the MBA programs, in India, actually, there are very typically three ways to do that. One is the 2-year MBA program that you will technically go in after just after completing your undergraduate studies. Another is the 1-year full-time MBA program, which suits some people, the needs totally according to the career needs that they have. And then there is the EMBA program. So what specific criteria did you use to evaluate, different EMBA programs? There are so many of them, and the brand or things which are important for you at this point in time in your career would be different from what it was previously. So how what were the criteria which were important for you?
Sure. So, I mean, one thing that I think you will also agree with Shruti, this is very personal when you're making these decisions about B school and also which B school. I'll tell you the programs that I've evaluated. There was an IIT Bombay, Washington University collab program out of Bombay where I live. Of course, ISB, PGP Max. Anyone who is looking for executive MBA in this country, I think will come across PGP Max for sure. Everyone will evaluate that. And then there was Bocconi IEMBA, which is slightly different from other B schools, right? Like what a Great Lakes or SP, a Gen, or even PGP Max from ISB, right? Offer this slightly different. For me, the criteria was very simple. One, the faculty, I mean, you may call me a little judgmental or whatever, the faculty promised that, people from the actual SDA Bocconi Milan campus faculty will be coming here and teaching for this program was definitely an attraction because I know a couple of people who went and did the 1-year MBA, which is offered on campus, and they spoke really high about the faculty there and also the methodologies that are used to teach, etc. And the FT rankings will obviously help. When I joined the program, they were ranked sixth in the world. The flagship program, of course, not IEMB. I have to give the disclaimer. And right now it's ranked number three. But what mattered to me was the same faculty was going to teach me. Right?
Mm.
Ultimately, that's what matters. And that was the number one criteria. Second, it's close to my residence in Bombay. I mean, I'll throw some light on why that is important also because the executive MBA, as casual as it may sound, it is rigorous enough. It's decently rigorous. Obviously, the degree of that rigorousness might vary from program to program, but anyway you go, this is one thing that I would tell people who are potentially evaluating any B school for their executive MBA is factor the travel time and distance into place, right? Otherwise, I was very keen on ISB, but I had to travel to Hyderabad for the campus immersions that are there almost every month or every second month.
Second one.
So yeah, so that was kind of tough for me because I have my family and then I have my work, which was also pretty hectic. So that was the second reason. So I would strongly urge people to think about it. Don't just go for it because then you can even join Chicago booth, right? You can travel to Chicago and do your executive MBA, but that is a big factor. And the third one, of course, was the I looked at the profiles of people who were coming in the previous batches, and they were varied enough for me. Like there were people from the armed forces, there were people, there were medical medicine professionals, they were senior HR professionals, insurance professionals, etc. So, and the promise of that mix was kept even for my batch. So that was the third criteria, the variance of the cohort, basically. These were the criteria that I used for myself.
Yes, and it has to be a personal criteria. Otherwise, just going by the rankings or just going by, what is, let's say, visible more, you can't take a decision. It's a huge
Correct.
investment that you're putting in, and you have to align with what the program has to offer in terms of the
Correct.
curriculum as well as the opportunities going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And this brings us to a discussion on what kind of specific skills or leadership opportunities, or what are the things in the curriculum at the IEMB program that you think stand out, or things which you find have been useful for you. Because a benefit
Sure.
the executive MBA in this format is that you can really put these things to use and apply them in your day-to-day work. So how far has that been feasible for you?
Absolutely. So my first lecture here, that we had rather, not my first lecture, but the first class that we had was on leadership and team building. That was the first lecture. And see, I mean, I was leading teams before joining Bocconi, right? But you don't learn this theory of forming, norming, and then storming, the different stages of team formation, storming, norming, and then performing, right? Rather. So just getting that perspective in a class with 30 other people, and everybody has a different perspective on that, and the challenges that they have faced, during their journey of becoming a manager and then leading teams. It's invaluable, man. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like for an outsider, it may seem like, you've been managing teams and all of that, but the second after that class, Monday, so that happened on Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday, I go to work, and then I could actually feel what's happening, right? I now understand why a certain team member is behaving, my manager rather. I'm managing managers now, so why he's behaving in a certain manner. What are the challenges he's facing while the team is being built? And coaching becomes extremely crucial, right? And becomes more efficient now for me because I can see that, I can understand that he's at that phase. So I become more patient. I work with my managers now. So that is one example. Second example is there is, a Devo lab at Bocconi, which does a lot of research on digital transformation. So for a bunch of us, including myself, digital transformation meant bringing offline to online. Excel में काम हो रहा था तो put in Salesforce or Zoho or something, like bring in some software, right? But then you start discussing distributed systems, you start discussing blockchain, you start discussing a lot of futuristic stuff and the research that happens at Bocconi. So again, a completely different perspective on that, right? So I can go on and on. Innovation, there is again research lab for corporate innovation, corporate entrepreneurship, as you call it. So the workshop that happened at the Milan campus for the innovation subject, pretty amazing. And again, taking that learning directly to work, when you go back, people look at you differently, right? You people also start respecting you because you are teaching them something. So I can go on and on. It's the question. It's I can't give a short answer to that, but yeah, these are the few things that I can mention.
Yes, I actually recalled one more question. A lot of times we are asked, what is the value of this program, or how do your employers or the recruiters, how do the company where you're working and your managers perceive the value of this program, or your value with the program and without the program? So, have you seen a difference? Have you evaluated and on those criteria at any point in time?
Um, so Shruti, I feel, for example, I can again speak for myself. The value of the program is only as much as you can project yourself. Uh, I mean, and I'm saying it with all humility. I have, in my journey, I have friends who are from Booth, who are from Harvard, who are from Dartmouth, ISB, IMA, etc., etc. I've seen really wicked geniuses, and I've also seen, okay, how did he get through that college as well, right? I mean, luck se chala gaya kya as well. And I have met C-level executives, leaders rather, let me just say leaders, who graduated from colleges that you may not have heard of. For example, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management. I mean, many people in this era wouldn't have heard about that college, even though at some point it was good, right? But seriously, good people. Now, where I'm getting at is whether you pass out from ISB, whether you pass out from Bocconi, it's highly personal, number one, on how confident you are when you go and sit in front of recruiter, etc. How confident you are about your skill set, about yourself, about your own personality. And this course, any course that you do, will only aid in opening doors for you. I want to make that absolutely clear for people, evaluating Bocconi as well. If you're expecting that some magic will happen because you will pay an X amount to the university, and then suddenly recruiters will have a beeline outside your office or residence or in your email, I would strongly recommend don't do this program or any executive MBA program. Use this. I wouldn't say use this only for learning. That's the most cliched thing to say. So the answer is, now summarizing it, the course adds a lot of value in terms of opening doors for you because you're building that network. You're building network with professors, the college, and the cohort as well, your own colleagues who are coming as part of that classroom. Now, how well you are able to leverage it is up to you. The college is not really going to spoon feed you anything except the course that has been promised. So,
Yes, and that's actually sadly an expectation that people come to us with. I speak with a lot of professionals who are evaluating executive MBA programs, and that they have this question. So I thought I'll just bring it up as well. And our answer to this was also that, the value is for you to draw out of it. If you think you can draw value and you can, make those connections, you can really no have the phone numbers of everybody in the industry, but it
yeah,
is for you to
yeah,
go and reach out and, say that, okay, I can do this for you. So absolutely
correct.
agree with you. Yes. So what
I
what
mean, I
are
know many people might not like this answer, but that's the truth, right? I mean,
that's the truth.
people,
That's how it works.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't have everything served on a plate, just
correct.
you should know what you want from the program. At the end of the day, it is your expectations which need to align very well if you're
Yeah,
investing in an education at this point in time, especially.
correct, correct.
Right. And what are some networking opportunities or resources, or let's say the support available to you as a student at Bocconi? What are the opportunities that the IEMB program or the other, let's say the facilities available for you to develop your career forward or just like that?
Sure, sure, sure. A bunch of them. So I will break them down into digital and non-digital, online and offline. So online, you have access to tons of databases and journal databases, information databases, et cetera, with your login. And these are really expensive subscriptions like Statista, CV Insights, a bunch of them. I can go on and on. So that's the digital part. Now, if you are a knowledge nerd, I guess maybe you quit your job and consume all the knowledge. There is so much information available, repositories, etc. That's the online part. Offline part breaks. I'll break it down into further pieces. Right, you have your own cohort. I'll give you an example of my own class. Right, the graduating class now. I have somebody who is the CEO of a venture capital firm. I have a head of marketing from Tata Group. I have someone who's on a partner track at EY, and I have someone from aviation, or a person who sells for private jets for some Canadian jet manufacturer. So networking opportunities, right? So this is just expanding. Like if you were only in your job, you're only networking with the people who were in that profession, who's coming to that office because you're spending 9, 10 hours in that at your desk or wherever that is, right? So one, that expansion, that is one opportunity. Second, the networking opportunity with the professors themselves. Most of the professors at Bocconi, they are professors of practice, right? So this is very important to know. So they are also contributing a lot to corporates. They're on boards of large corporates. They're on advisory committees. Few of the professors I've noticed they run their own startups as well, apart from being a full-time professor at Bocconi, which is the case with all good B schools like ISB, etc. Right? No surprise there. So these, like I think this is fair bit of scene, and the Milan immersion that happens, that just is a different parallel, right? I don't think many executive programs in this country offer that. So this program, Shruti, I don't know you're aware of it or not. It gives us 15, I'm sure you may be, 15 days, 15 to 20 days of immersion opportunity on the main campus.
Mhm.
So that's another networking opportunity for people who would want to move to Europe. If there is anyone interested in, then obviously 2 weeks is a lot of time to set some meetings there and travel around and meet people because Bocconi is widely recognized in Europe. There is no person who doesn't know about Bocconi in Europe. So just a few things that I can list down for the purpose of this talk.
Yes. So what were some challenges or concerns that you had to overcome in deciding to pursue an EMBA? So, going back to the start.
Sure. First and foremost, it's financial, man. I mean, no matter how much money you have in the bank, it's a significant investment. So, and especially people who are married, you will need to have the discussion with your partner and both regarding time because my weekends are not for my partner since the last 9 months, right? So that's gone. So the 15 months that you'll invest, 15 to 18 months that you'll invest in this program, it will keep you away from your family for significant part of the free time you were getting working in a corporate, because that's mostly Saturdays and Sundays, right? And then there are tests and group assignments, so it can get fairly busy. So that was definitely a challenge for me. It felt like an obstacle for me for sure. And that is the reason why I've been pushing it for so long as well, right? Otherwise, executive MBA also I could have done it a couple of years earlier. But so you need that support from family. For me, the final push came from my wife. She said, "You keep saying this every year to your friends and to myself. I'm tired now." So her words were, "I don't know what risk you're perceiving in your head. I don't see any risk. Yes, you will be a bit busy." So yeah, so that push from family is definitely required for a lot of us, and that was one obstacle. Second obstacle was also about the rigor. Pass होऊंगा कि नहीं, पढ़ूंगा कि नहीं, because after 16 years you're getting back to textbooks. So how disciplined you will be, you don't know. You really don't know until you start doing it, right? So that was another obstacle I had in my mind. But yeah, you have to overcome these fears that you have.
They should do an executive MBA or not? What would be the set of questions or a checklist that you would suggest to them that, okay, do these five things and you should be able to, decide whether you are fit for a program and then how to choose one?
What I would say is the list to decide whether to do it or not probably is easier according to me. But one thing, the easier to answer is, don't think of the program like a magic wand, which I had already mentioned earlier. If that is something, if you are at a juncture in your career where, let's say, you are feeling stagnant, stuck at a particular role, or you just want that promotion, don't do this program for that. Please, you will be hugely disappointed, because yes, for few people it might be a massive unlock that you're doing this program and suddenly your boss might say that, oh fine, I've seen improvement in your performance, you're investing in yourself, and you will get that job you've been vying for. But if you come purely from that perspective, it might be a disappointment, right? So a couple of questions that I would look at it is, where am I at a stage of my life? Am I feeling stuck in a particular role? If I'm stuck, then why? Is it because I'm seeing some lack in depth in terms of my skills? Or is it just because, I'm at a wrong place, right? I mean, sometimes that clarity is required. If the answer is that it's because of lack of skills, you want to increase your breadth of knowledge and understanding, then please just don't think about anything else. Go for it. And always, second, most importantly, Shruti, check with your family.
Hmm.
Don't make an unanimous decision, because without their support, you will not be able to go through this.
Managing a lot of things together, you need the maximum support possible.
Correct, correct, correct.
Correct, absolutely. Thank you so much, Tarun. Thank you for taking out the time.